Right. Do a sound check for the three of us. Just before we get started, I really like the Rogan idea. I like you just taking a topic and just dissecting it with a random user
I'd
team.
like to bring somebody on every week to it.
You can do it. What do you call it? Because
someone who has little to no knowledge of the topic is better.
That'll be better as well.
Joe Rogan.
So here's Ben Shapiro to talk about climate change.
Here's Niall to talk about Chicago deep dish pizza.
So we've got Adam through to John is week 4 through to week 11. After that, we'll have 1, 2, 3. We'll have 6 weeks plus the wild card makes 7 plus division round is 8. If you want to start taking guys on then, because we're not having anybody in the herd after week 11.
Might start a wee bit.
I think whenever someone's eliminated from playoff probability, if that happens.
I was going to say, do you really want a podcast with me and Stitch every week?
James Cameron is listening.
Yes.
Hello, James, and says it's Chris. So I'm gonna fire ahead here, assuming that Zach's not on, but he's an avid listener, and
James can hear us. Everybody else.
Niall's busy watching old Bake Off through to 10:30.
Season 1.
Season 1, the OG.
Back to the old days, they just made bread.
Bring back Mary Berry.
Bam, 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 boom.
I'm quite excited for this week. Because we got Adam on.
This
Adam on.
is not the herd. I'm not Colin Cowherd, and this is no Joy Taylor. We're joined today by Saints head coach Adam Gormley. Hello, Adam.
Hey there. How's things?
Things are mental. So first of all, we're going to discuss everybody's playoff probabilities, and I'm going to buzz through those really quickly. So from bottom to top, Arizona and Dallas are 2-2. That means they have a 36% chance of making the playoffs. This time last year, Dallas had an 83% chance at 4-0, and Arizona had a 63% chance at 3-1. So they've gone from a combined 7-1 to a combined 4-4. Denver are 63%, as are Oakland. Denver slightly ahead of them due to the head-to-head. Saints are 3-0, so they're a game behind everybody else with the earliest bye possible in the NFL. Still 75% likely to make the playoffs. Will be stunned if he's not there. Houston are 3-0-1. That gives them a 79% chance.
Because tie.
John's tie is better than Adam's bye. That's the margin there.
Kinda. In some way, probably.
John scored more points than Adam on his bye. That was about it.
But also conceded more.
The Giants and the Bears are both 4-0, 83% likely. The slight edge going to the Giants because they've won 3 divisional games, which is mental. Speaking of the Giants, the major stories that we're going to cover this week are going to be delightful. We've brought on PhD Gormley, who knows all about this. We're discussing Justin Herbert versus Mitch Trubisky. And
who's better and why is it Justin Herbert?
I imagine you have those passing stats coming out of your ears.
Normally I'm fairly reserved on that, but I'll break my silence on the Trubisky Herbert dilemma just for the podcast.
The people are begging. They need you to speak. Speak the truth and only the truth.
Oh, I'm prepared for it. So
what are we starting with?
So, I mean, can we look at it this way? Standings wise, the quarterback can play really well or really badly, but if the quarterback plays, like, I would argue, I don't know if you guys want to argue
It's
this.
very difficult to have a really good quarterback and have a bad record.
I would say that Kyler Murray's playing really well, and they're 2-2. Because if he was playing badly, they'd be 1-3 or 0-4. He's getting them through games.
Not really well.
The Minnesota loss was pretty brutal from Murray.
True.
Yeah.
That's the one of the 2 losses. That's the only one I bet on him.
I wouldn't say he's playing really well. Really well is probably a bit of a stretch.
Okay, but he's
he
playing
has 3
well.
touchdowns through 4 games,
And 2 of them are in the last 4 quarters, I believe.
Yeah.
Anyway, circling back round, Giants are 4-0 and the Bears are 4-0. They are the 1 and 2 seed. Yes, I can hear Saints fans baying for blood at home. If they had played their other game, they would be. Well, it depends who they play. They would be the second seed at least.
I don't play divisional game till week 10 or something.
That's disgusting.
So I'm gonna be the 3 till then, really.
Yeah,
Zach will have
Niall hasn't
all
played
his
one yet.
division games before I play my first.
Before you play one, so it's possible that you'll be the 2 or the 3 seed till really late in the season.
So I play Niall week 12.
You actually.
When does Adam play Zach?
Holy right, 2 things. One, Adam doesn't play Zach. Adam's last 4: Carolina, Atlanta, Carolina, Tampa Bay. Adam will only have played 2 divisional games in 13 weeks.
Christ.
Yep.
I love Madden scheduling after year 1.
That's disgusting.
They just forget everything. Oh, divisional games week
Who
1
plays
to 6.
in this division? I don't know.
Yeah, you'll play your divisional games weeks 1 to 5, and then you'll play another one in week 16. Just completely do not give a shit.
The first season is always the same. Like Dallas v New York on Sunday Night Football, they open the season.
Yep.
Then week 4 is a divisional game usually. See, in year 6 or 7 of your franchise, it's like, right, your first 3 games are against the Houston Astros, the Harlem Globetrotters, and the Arizona
West
Rattlers.
Brom,
and West Ham
Brom's a
away.
divisional game, and you've got to play it week 16. You only play them once. Like, they just completely. I'm looking forward to the new Madden.
At least it changes every season, like Adam says. Whenever it gets to preseason, week 3, preseason, year 4, it's just the same random 4 preseason games every single year.
I'm looking forward to when we eventually go to the new Madden, and there's 7 playoff spots.
7 playoff spots will be dicey. Can you imagine if a player team missed with 7 playoff spots?
You would have your life ruined. Especially with a second podcast starting, that would be hell.
There's only 3 There's only 3 user teams that ever missed the playoffs. Niall's Texans twice, and James's Cowboys, and they would all have got in as the 7th seed.
John's Falcons. No, John's Falcons.
John's Falcons got in as a wild card.
Scrap of the Saints.
But all 3 of those teams had missed.
To now.
He always loses to the Saints, always. So the teams that have missed the playoffs, Niall, and James, would have got in as the 7th seed. So it's going to be really hard for a user to miss. The only person that's missed, I think it's Nick missed. Zach would have got in last year. Nick and Stoops
wouldn't have got in last year.
Nick and Stoops last year both would have missed.
Nick would have missed if there was 15 playoff spots in the AFC last year. And that's I can only laugh at that because Nick's doing well this year. If Nick was dick this year, I'd feel really bad.
Hang on, is that true?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, he was the
first overall pick.
Christ, Kansas City were 4.
There could have been 31 playoff spots in the NFL last year, and he'd have missed out.
No, but he beat the Chiefs. He had head-to-head over the Chiefs, and the Chiefs finished a game clear of him. Ugh. So disappointing.
Right, let's not get into it.
Anyway, Herbert and Trubisky. So
him.
I have passing stats through week 3, not through week 4. So I'll give you my week 3 outlook, and then Adam can bring us up to speed if I've missed anything horrendous that happened in week 4.
I can give you the exact stats for week 4 on top of that.
Oh, that's even better. Hang on 2 seconds.
I'll go through the game.
I doubt that it's changed, considering my 3-word game for the Giants. I doubt that it's changed. That Justin Herbert should still be the user quarterback with the most yards per attempt, which is a real stat.
Yeah, without question.
There are 2 quarterbacks that I want to. Certainly one I want to pick on as part of this debate. Mitch Trubisky is below the league average. The league average in a league where some CPU quarterbacks snap the ball and throw it into their O-line, they're averaging 9.9 yards.
Look at nobody in particular, Carson Wentz.
I was literally going to say Carson Wentz.
It's either Zach Ertz or the dirt. That's the only options.
He's averaging 9.9. Like the league average is 9.99, so about 10 yards per attempt. Trubisky's 9.4.
Oh.
All other quarterbacks, bar one, are double digits.
Well, that sort of ends the Trubisky-Herbert debate, in that every stat and every possible way to measure a quarterback, Mitch Trubisky is just a measure below average.
But for
the
Trubisky,
stat for me, sorry,
go ahead.
That the Herbert has 4 more attempts than Trubisky has completions, and he has like 100 more yards and 4 more touchdowns.
That's a big deal. That.
Without being into too rude, fuck me. That is bad.
Because he's attempted 64 and has just over 1,000 yards and 14 touchdowns. And Trubisky is up here and has attempted 96 for 957 yards and 10 touchdowns.
Do you know, if I was grading these guys...
60 completions.
If I'm grading these guys, Trubisky... I probably like Trubisky marginally more on the eye test, like stats aside. he's the one I'd rather have out of the two.
Is that you saying that Trubisky's a better quarterback if somebody else was controlling him?
I'm just about to say, the coach is what's killing him. If you look at the last game, the game against the Bills, there are 2 throws, and I think they're both interceptions, and Niall, right before it, you can hear him, and I love getting the insight from coaches on their headsets. Niall goes, I'm going to throw the ball at such and such, I think it's Higgins, I'm going to throw the ball at so-and-so here to see what happens, and he gets picked, and he goes, shouldn't have forced it, and you're like, you knew before you snapped the ball, you could hear it in your voice, you were like, it's probably cover 2, and I'm throwing him at the free safety, let's do it anyway. Oh, it's a pick. I shouldn't have done that. You know you shouldn't have done that because you basically said as much. And he did it twice. That's the only reason I'm bringing it up, is that he did it twice. Because you get it, James Cameron does it, and Niall does it as well. Towards the end of games, if he's up by multiple scores, he'll try and go vertical with a passing game where he maybe shouldn't. And doing it once is fine, but he did it twice. And I think Trey White, was it Trey White picked him off both times? I mean, Trey White did really well this week. He certainly had 1 pick, but he might have had 2. But it just looks terrible when he's forcing routes that he doesn't need to. And again, you get away with that because he's up. He won the game 31-10, so he's up by like 2 scores, 3 scores at the time. But the regular season, Daniel got this. Daniel was in the league 1 year before he completely twigged in this, which is why he didn't put the effort in the second year by his own stretch.
I'm putting more effort into the league now.
The first 17 weeks of a season are just the trial period. You can play Dick and beat the CPU. If you've been in the league more than a year, Daniel did it in year 1 because he's insane. You can beat shitty CPU teams by playing poorly, but then you get absolutely like UFC. Oh God, he's hurt! Whenever you get to the playoffs for the first time, James Earls is case in point. He is
that comes very much from baseball for me, and that.
The regular season's just a
regular
rehearsal.
Season MVP gets a trophy. The World Series MVP gets 2. That's the goal every year. Winning 2 MVPs, Randy Dalton, was great. If you could tell me I could swap 2 MVPs, Randy Dalton, for winning a Super Bowl with him, 100%. And anybody who says, "Oh no, I'd rather have my regular season MVP," is a lying bastard, Dan Marino.
Who was the last regular season MVP to win the Super Bowl?
Tom Brady?
Hasn't happened in ages, right?
In real life or in CFM or in both?
In
real life.
CFM, it's Blake Bortles.
Bortles?
In real life, I'm going to find out now.
Christ,
I mean,
can't remember the last time.
Brady's as good a
somebody's even
shout
done it.
as any. But it's...
Brady got it. I don't think Brady did.
I think Brady might have got it the 16-0 year.
Yeah, he definitely got it 16-0 year, and he got it at...
Lamar didn't win. Mahomes didn't win.
Brady the year before, was it?
Brady got it in 2017, but did he lose he lost to the Eagles that
He
year?
lost to the Eagles.
He beat the Rams in 2018 and Mahomes in 2019.
Matt Ryan got it. Cam Newton got it.
Did Matt Ryan win the Super Bowl? Please, somebody tell us in the group chat.
Peyton Manning got it and then got beat 43-8 in the Super Bowl.
That was the best Super Bowl ever because I was watching it with a Broncos fan, and as soon as that first snap went into the end zone, his head dropped.
Yeah.
That's that game over.
Aaron Rodgers in 2011 won the MVP and beat the Saints in the Super Bowl.
Of course, wanker.
So it's been like a decade.
Years.
Wait, who did Aaron Rodgers beat in the Super Bowl?
Saints.
He can't beat the Saints in the Super Bowl.
Can it beat the Saints?
He's in the NFC.
Oh, it says here Green Bay defeated the Super Bowl champions at Lambeau Field. That's the season opener. Did he even win the Super Bowl that year? 2011? No, 2011 was the Giants.
Was the Giants.
Fuck me, this is the worst Wikipedia page ever. It's as if anybody can just edit this. Right, 2010. No, because the Packers were the champs the year before. No, so hang on, it's even further back than this. Bear with.
So they give him the MVP because Aaron Rodgers was upset he only got the Super Bowl. What a dick.
No, not there. Not there. LaDainian Tomlinson's never won one. Sean.
Breeze should have got it in 09, but...
Christ. How far back do we have to go? I'm back to 2002. Hang on. No. What about 2000? Fucking help me out here. No. Nobody this millennium, hang on. Yes. Kurt Warner won MVP in 99 and won the Super Bowl.
So Kurt Warner is the last guy to do it. Like
The last guy to do it, I
1999.
was 3. In fact, I was just turning 3 a month after he won the Super Bowl. It's been a while, to be fair.
It's 1999.
Right, so 3 months.
Anyway, sorry, circling back around to what
3
Niall was
months
saying.
before United won the treble is the last time somebody won an MVP in the Super Bowl.
Yes,
That makes it seem even longer.
doesn't it?
That is a fucking day and a half ago. That is a long time.
Because United have been good since then, and bad.
You've been very close to winning the treble and very far away from the treble.
So, yeah. So let's finish up the discussion on Herbert and Trubisky. I feel like Niall's a bit of a speed bump for Trubisky. I mean, I've seen
Could be both though.
they went to the pair of them, Trubisky and Niall. Who's better, the coach or the quarterback? They both went to the Super Bowl last year.
Rex Gross won the Super Bowl.
they did.
I know.
Trent Dilfer won a Super Bowl.
Eli Manning won 2.
Why you gotta do that?
Bad quarterbacks have been to Super Bowls.
Yes,
Bad coaches have been to Super Bowls.
loads of bad coaches have been to
ton
Super
of
Bowls.
bad coaches?
A ton. That absolute.
Can I
Don't
point
even-
something out and bring this back to actual facts though?
Yes, absolutely.
Justin Herbert, the main reason he was put out of Chicago was his wind-up and he was taking too many sacks.
Please give me the sacks
How
because I
many-
have them
How
here.
many sacks do you think he's got this season?
Well,
so
I only
far?
have them from week 3, and I think he took 4 or 5 in the Buffalo game. It's double digits.
Trubisky or Herbert?
No. Trubisky took he took 4 or 5 sacks in the Buffalo game.
I'm gonna say
So-
Herbert's been sacked 6 times. Trubisky's been sacked 11.
No, Trubisky's been
Close.
sacked more than
Very
11,
close.
isn't he?
You've been doing your homework. Herbert is on 6 and Trubisky is on 13.
Oh, I was 2 out.
The thing is, I never feel like Herbert needs to get sacked as well because I feel like the Giants' offense in year 2 knows its identity more than a Bears' offense in year 4. Is that fair?
And Zach has done a lot of work on the line.
Yes, he
He's
has.
invested heavily
Sack
on
should
his
not
line.
look better in game 4 with his quarterback than Niall does in season 4 with.
But that's the thing. Eye test and stats and great. I know the stats favour Herbert, but for me, Trubisky's performing better. But Zach is
The
massively
only thing
outcoaching
Trubisky
Niall.
has over him is he's made a Super Bowl. If the Giants make a Super Bowl or even make a title game for me,
You can't hold that over somebody that you made a Super Bowl if you kicked 2 field goals in it, and you're talking about your quarterback.
well,
But
yeah,
the
true. The
thing-
stats show that Mitch
the
Trubisky
thing
did
I-
not make a Super Bowl.
I think like they're very similar, and that's sort of the point. Is that you could have had essentially the same quarterback with a little more upside for
a
like
lot cheaper.
15 million a year cheaper.
Yeah.
All that stuns me is that Herbert's strengths played in Niall's weaknesses. So Herbert he says he preferred Trubisky, but Herbert would have allowed Niall to do what he can't do.
Herbert would be great with this Chicago. What Niall wants.
Can you
this
imagine
Chicago to
Herbert
be.
with the Chargers
I'd have
playbook?
cut my own legs off to get Herbert with Cincinnati.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
it would have just been 1, 2, 3. Oh, we fucking yeeted it 70 yards downfield at AJ Green.
Because you had proper perimeter receivers as well.
Well, at AJ Green.
Well, AJ Green and Rashard Higgins have similar skill sets,
Yeah, in a way.
but Riley Ridley is just
They're both wide receivers in the NFL.
No, that's not. No.
Rashad Higgins is a lot closer to Tyler Boyd's level of ability, if we can run the Julian Edelman deep in.
Riley
AJ
Ridley-
Green can take the top off.
Riley Ridley is just a slot spammer right now, and I forgot Jalen Rigor was there. I legitimately did. I couldn't think of who his other perimeter
I
receiver
like
was.
Herbert. I don't see why he traded Herbert.
I think it was just he had to cut his losses. Like it was, he
Who
was
do we
getting
think is-
nothing by keeping him.
We're 4 weeks in, and I'm gonna just make this about Brady and Belichick. Who won the divorce?
Herbert.
Chicago or Herbert?
Herbert. Because Chicago's still paying a big money quarterback. Herbert's now winning.
Yeah, I think Herbert's happy in New York.
If I'm being honest, Herbert's the one I see being in the NFC title game.
So what's going to happen is Adam wins the Super Bowl and retires, and for the next 10 years we get to see Herbert and Trubisky duel it out in the NFC title game.
Yeah,
every year.
That would
I
be
just
so
come
good.
on like the black weather guy and Family Guy to give you a Herbert update every 2 minutes.
Give us a Herbert update. It's an interception. Thanks, Adam.
Oh dear.
So I would say that there's 4 good quarterbacks and 4 bad quarterbacks, and that's really cutting it and dry. I mean, the top 4 users and the second 4 users, I don't think they're all bad necessarily, but my quarterbacks at the minute, in terms of ranking them, I have Love at 1, Carr at 2, Watson sort of 2, 3, Herbert 4, Barry Benson 5, Kyler 6, Dak 7. Dak's outperforming Kyler statistically, but when I have Dak, he just feels like a lamppost at quarterback, whereas Murray's dynamic, especially in his last game. And
Murray is dynamic. He keeps finding brand new ways to throw game-losing interceptions.
Is Trubisky? Am I wrong to have Trubisky at 8 when they're 4-0?
I think you're wrong to have Benson at 5. He isn't that good. Like,
Benson's upside is as good as Herbert's, but Benson's downside is as bad as Murray.
That's a very good point. He doesn't have to.
But that's my thing. Do you see the way I've ranked the quarterbacks? Trubisky is not the 8th best quarterback out of those 8, but Benson and Herbert look like Pro Bowlers when Herbert might not be, and Barry Benson definitely isn't. But because of the way their offenses are balanced, they're producing. And I really like the Denver Broncos 3-1 a hell of a lot more than I like the Bears 4-0.
Really?
Massively. Do you think that if John and Niall played next week, do you think Niall loses by 7?
No.
Yeah, catch yourself on, right?
Because I watched it like
that week 2 game was such a mess too. Like I don't really.
Not just that, but James just beat Nick. I don't know if I bet a fiver on the Bears to beat the Raiders right now. I really don't.
I don't know if I bet a fiver on the Saints to beat the Raiders. They look terrible to play against.
Their run game is good. Allen Robinson is a stud, and the defense is going to take it away from you.
All I know is
that the Bears have is the defense is going to take it away.
Nick in a head-to-head, and I beat him like 14-13.
Proper football game.
He is an absolute bastard to play against, and I mean that in the best way.
The Raiders Bears is a game that we're not going to see this year, I don't think, and I'd really like to see it.
Raiders Bears?
Is it in the schedule?
I don't think it is.
No, it won't be until next year. You played the Bears.
Oh god, yeah.
So next season they'll play each other.
No, the Bears will take it away, and so will the Raiders. I give the Bears the edge defensively.
Question: what's next on the agenda?
I'm about to go to it now because we've more or less covered the quarterback thing. Unless Adam's got any other stats. I mean, the completions and attempts one is just baffling.
First.
Okay, go ahead.
For everybody in the group, I want people to send their answers either in the group chat, if they're embarrassed, PM them. We're gonna start with Adam's gonna have to be on the spot. Adam's gonna have to answer his on the podcast.
Shit.
Is this the nomination bracelet question? Because I don't want to answer that again.
It's technically, what's the worst Christmas present you've ever got? You don't have to tell us who it's from, although I highly doubt Chloe listens to the podcast. Not gonna lie. But what's the worst Christmas present you've ever got?
Oh, Jesus, I don't know.
Good question.
Fuck, I'm trying to think what shit games I've got. I normally get a Mafia 3 was pretty shit.
Mafia 3 was shit. It was really bad.
I got a jacket last year that was terrible. I returned it. So.
Okay.
Oh god, I was gonna say.
Can we top jackets?
I wanted a picture of the jacket into the group chat. I got
a Harambe themed Christmas jumper in 2019. James Cameron.
Brutal.
Nice. It's the standard jacket you see on every 14-year-old. You know, like the puffer jacket. It was one of those.
Not good. Not good. Daniel, I'm about to go on to the next topic.
I got
by the way,
boxers once with a hole in them.
Oh god, yeah.
A Yankee candle that smelt of like a bad garden centre.
A damp, wet garden centre.
So I got boxers with a hole in them and a Yankee candle that I didn't like the smell of. It's genuinely the worst. It would have been more fun to eat the fucking thing. It was absolutely disgusting. It smelled really damp, and it was meant to smell like a Christmas tree, but it didn't in any way. It's really horrible.
See, that's your problem. Seasonal candles are a bad idea because you get it for Christmas, then you can't ever burn it.
Yeah, you've got to get. If you're going to give somebody a seasonal candle, give them at end of November.
Yeah, Thanksgiving present
throughout Christmas. Yeah.
No one wants to be sitting there in March with their house smelling of cinnamon.
Exactly. Nobody wants to be sitting over the summer with their house smelling like a garden centre. That's just absolutely horrendous. But yes, please keep your. I'll read them out if you send them into the group chat. Read out the worst Christmas presents you've ever got.
I gotta say that James Cameron's is right up there.
Now I got clothes that were far too small for him. James is really refuting the puffer jacket slander, which just tells you how badly James Cameron has addressed himself.
That says a lot about his character.
He's definitely turned up the awards night on Friday in a puffer jacket. million
Just a
percent.
puffer jacket. Sitting there looking like his David Bowie tattoo. But yes, keep your terrible Christmas presents coming in. I want us to hear what the worst people have got is.
After I do the next topic, can we please have another breaking question like that? Because they are banter. So, next we're going to talk about the draft. Yes, that lovely bit of the year you all talk about, and you love the draft,
for the draft.
and you stream it and Zoom.
I get excited for the draft as soon as I see a pre-season week 1 game.
And we're all on, and you draft. Let me see. User teams between there's 8 of yous now made 63 draft selections, and I think you hit on
low.
Yeah, I think you hit on 14 of them.
Oof, that's very low.
It is when Niall made 12 and Adam made 11 selections. There are 14 hits.
There's like 24 between us.
Yeah. Just to give you those: Bears 12, Saints 11, Raiders 8, Cowboys 8, Broncos 7, Cards 6, Texans 6, Giants 5. So yeah, they're all really small amounts towards the end. I think the only people that can be considered having a relatively successful draft are the Bears, the Saints, and the Cardinals. The Saints probably the best. The Bears, half of their selections haven't been used. Now, I drew these up in terms of whether I think they're a hit. They're too early to tell. They're a miss. Yes, we have several misses already this stage of the season. Whether they're practice squad guys, if you practice squad them, I took them out of the reckoning because they're clearly long-term planned. There's no need to rush them in the field. And then non-applicable is they're sitting in your active 53-man roster and cannot get on the field. So the key culprits there, and these are terribly numbers-wise, the Bears made 12 selections. 5 of them haven't seen the field, at least noticeably, like haven't been on yet.
They did make a lot of picks, though.
The Texans made 6 selections, and 5 of them haven't been on the field. And
that's a theme. Last season they made 4 selections, and I think had 3 tackles between the 3.
The difference this year is that they got Kyle Pitts. Well, it's a heinous crime not playing him. He is exciting, especially when the Texans have nothing at tight end.
When he actually gets drafted, and like when he's in Madden as an actual player, he's gonna be like 78, 79 years old.
Yeah. He's gonna be
a
ready to go.
player.
And the Broncos made 7 selections, and 5 of them are also collecting a paycheck for no reason.
The Broncos made how many selections?
7.
Oh. And how many didn't get in the field?
5 of them have not been on the field yet.
Fuck me, should have just
One of them is
texting people at the combine, stay in college.
one of them is a second rounder.
Who was that?
A second round corner, Michael Wright, hasn't been on the field yet.
Well done. You've drafted Jordan Love in real life. You've drafted somebody in the second round with the intention of them never seeing, just to piss. What is it? Did he do
Jordan
like
Love was the
Packers did,
first
just to piss off their? Oh Christ, Jordan! It was Jalen Hurts was the second. Although he could be
the
starting
Packers
by next
traded
weekend.
up for Love.
So most of this draft stuff I'm going to be talking about the Bears because, well, they did make like a third of the league selections. Plus, they have so many hits. I like a lot of these people. So I'll run through everybody's hits. I'm not going to go through every single player, but I'll go through some of the bigger hits that I really like. And the Bears and the Saints have obviously got the most. I like the Bears guy, Andrew Booth. Yes, he's a rookie corner and he gets beat sometimes. He's got a pick 6. Niall's using him really well, which is a big factor. I like him. It's rare that you get a corner. He did take him in the first round, so there's expectations. But for me, if you take a corner, he's not necessarily going to start straight away. Is that fair to say? Like Jeff Okudah for the Lions this year, expected to start straight away, first round. But generally, you don't get on early as a corner. So Booth's done really well.
You can't judge the Lions. They have a head coach who's a complete fucking imbecile.
Christ, have they not fired him yet?
No, how have they not? Oh, it's so frustrating. He's so terrible.
I know. He's literally there's nothing endearing either. There's like no positives. Like, do you remember that time
when he uses laminate? That is what is endearing about him. That's why you suffer a 4-12 season because 1, he is a pencil behind his ear, and 2, he used to know Bill Belichick. That is the only
and he's a rocket
possible.
scientist.
I was going to say, have you
right.
ever lied on your CV so much? So, Matt, have you got any other questions for us before you go about the job? I'm a rocket scientist. I'm going to write that down.
Surely there is more defensive talent in the coaching ranks through the NFL and college that you don't need to hire a guy who... What can you do, Matt? I can coach Jerron Harmon and Trey Flowers. What else can you do? That's my thing. Right, okay. Yeah. Well, unfortunately, we are wasting the best years of Matt Stafford's career because you can only coach 2 fucking players. Like with
the Bears, I also really like Nakobe Dean. We haven't started it yet because it's still really early in the season. I like him. he might be Defensive Player of the Year, like Defensive Rookie, sorry, of the year, and he might get a Pro
Maybe,
Bowl vote from me. He might. I really like him because we bum and blow about Roquan Smith, who's pretty good, but Niall's played him like he's very good. I think the Kobe Dean gives you more. I think he's played better early in the season. Malcolm Epps, I like as a hit. He's not really done anything, but again, I don't really rate the Bears' pass attack so much. It will get better. It's still teething problems. They have another bye, still first half of the season. When the Bears get good, Malcolm Epps will be better than he is currently, but he's still doing alright. And I like Doug Nestor. Doug Nestor, the left guard, because he let James Daniels walk, and they haven't really missed him, which is good. What is the back called? Is it Master Teague or King Teague? It must be King Teague, obviously, yeah.
It's King Teague.
Because it's in brackets, and I didn't know whether that was his original
Only
name.
Adam is allowed to say that.
He's one of my
I don't want to get in trouble.
He's one of my too early to tells. And I say too early to tell lightly, because we might never be able to tell, because he's a Bears running back, so maybe he'll never get used again. But when he has been on the field, he's been positive.
If he gets to the playoffs, he'll get 6 downs and then get injured.
I like what I've seen. I've seen little. I like what I've seen. The Saints, Adam, I'm going to ram these off really quickly, and then you can talk a little bit about your draft strategy and how you think it's went, because that's much more important than what I think. I like Jaden Hasselwood, the receiver, a lot. He's literally performing statistically like he's your number one. I like Owen Papo, the outside backer, racked up a number of tackles, starter, second round, pretty good. Jalen Lay's a little bit like Epps. Haven't really seen a lot out of your tight end room this year. It hasn't been bad, it just hasn't been a focal point. Figure it will need to be at some point down the year, and he'll be good.
I was going to say, yeah, it hasn't needed to be to this point.
And you've hit on what he
Got
called
the
as
game
well.
winner against Dallas.
Yes, he did actually. Yeah, truth be told, that was his first touchdown, I believe.
Yeah, that's his Matthew Morrison moment.
Timbrell Tompkins Part 2.
Oh, what he called the.
I can't remember Tompkins was okay.
What do you call that
Matthew
tight
Morrison
end played for us?
got one.
And
Was it
the Falcons?
Timbrell Tompkins who caught the pass to
No,
beat
was that not Matthew
the
What do you
Bills
call
in
him?
Brady's return
Oh,
game? Or the
fuck.
Saints in Brady's
No, Campbell Tompkins beat the Saints in Brady's return game.
Brady's back, that's our quarterback. And then Cameron Tompkins fades away into fucking nothing. Like, he's now worked at a Dairy Queen.
Nate Solder committed heinous holding in that play as well. Also, Kaplan and Vic, your kicker and punter, spot on. I have reservations about your DT, and pretty much everybody else is in the
Can I
practice
just
squad.
say, by the way, field goal percentage is something I want to talk about in the podcast next week. I want to talk about special teams next week.
You have to remind me about that, because I don't have it recorded.
No, I'm going to go on, because I have James Rose login, so I can go on and check everybody's kick and punt stats. I'm going to do a spreadsheet for next week on percentages and why Adam has done this the right way. You really do not need to pay for specialists in this league.
Adam's always the first to let kicker and punter go.
There's no point.
You can draft a 71 overall kicker every
no
year.
point
Like,
paying.
Adam could literally release this guy that he's got now at the end of the year and draft another kicker in 7th round, be the same. And I'm going to talk on the thing next week about who is wasting money on special teamers that they do not need. We're not going to talk about return men, because that can be by the blockers in front of you more than the return men. But I'm going to talk about kickers and punters next week for about 10-15 minutes, just about what guys are spending and who's spending too much.
Sorry. Michael Wright, who hasn't seen the field for James as a captain, and James doesn't have the heart to take it off him. Wow. Niall literally, one thing I want to commend the Bears on, Niall at the start of the season gave us a list of his captains just to share them with the group, and was like, these are the guys I trust. Roquan Smith and Mitch are Bears guys, and these guys, like Rigor I think is a captain. Like, I've given captaincy to guys that are Niall guys that I trust, and here's James just giving the fucking whoever fits it. Does this jersey fit you? Right, you're
This
the captain
guy
now.
went home and got a C sewn on his thing, so we had to give him captaincy. That sums up James Cameron, I'm afraid.
John, what do you
Take
mean,
it,
what did I
make it.
call you?
I like
I don't think, have I mentioned John in this podcast? Not really.
I think we made fun of the fact he had a tie, but that was about it.
No, I'm yet to do that. Stay tuned.
Oh, goody.
What else have I got
Don't
in the
worry,
chat?
John, we'll get there.
Niall, you said, to be fair, a few of your picks were on the O-line. Yes, you took 2 right tackles and neither of them have played, which has me confused. So yeah, you took a lot of offensive linemen, but if they were never going to play, I don't get what I mean, I know there's backups, but you've got 2 right tackles there, so there's 2 backups at one position and they're not playing. Jordan Adams, I'm making a bold prediction. Jordan Adams is a receiver, Niall took in the 7th round. He could be Bursin. He probably isn't Bursin, but Jordan Adams will catch a touchdown at the end of the year. That will be like shock value. Some point between now and the end of the season.
You spoke
Adam,
that like a man with PTSD.
Adam, talk to us about the Saints draft class.
Pretty pleased with it. Lille, the D tackle, is just a nose tackle and isn't going to show up on the stats sheet ever. But I'm pretty pleased with him. Hasselwood has been everything that Traquan Smith was and wasn't. He's been very good. Lay has done enough. He had the fumble game 1, but rookie mistake. Papo has kept Shaquem Griffin out of the lineup.
Shaquem, yeah.
And both kicker and punter have been pretty good. Kicker has missed 1 field goal, but I think it was 57 yards against Dallas. So I can't hold that against him, and it was just short.
Oh, it doinked, did it? I think it doinked.
I think it doinked.
I can hear Zach shouting doink in my head, so
very
it's
close.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it doinked.
So, pretty pleased with everybody. Everyone else is depth and practice squad guys, so hopefully see the field next year.
Niall's asking, are we going to get a chance to do draft strategy with everybody?
Yeah.
If you can remind me when you're on the podcast, I'd love you to talk draft strategy. But just in case we don't, here's my... You ever see the fastest 3 minutes that Chris Berman does on Monday nights? Here's my fastest 3 minutes on everybody's draft strategy. Hi, I'm the Bears, and I'm just going to draft all of these right tackles that never play. Hi, I'm the Cowboys. I'm going to draft people that are just dreadful. Doesn't matter what position, I'm going to draft all defenders, and they are going to suck. Hi, I'm the Cardinals. I sneakily hit on the draft. It's just that the players I already have are bad. Hi, I'm Denver. I didn't give a shit. I didn't give a solitary shit about my draft at all. Hi, I'm the Giants. I drafted Jalen Gill. Hi, I'm the Raiders. I took loads and loads and loads of angry defenders who are going to be in prison one day. Hi, I'm the Saints. We only draft special teamers. And hi, I'm the Texans. What's the draft? So that's everybody's...
Arizona hitting all their picks. The only problem is they were all drafted to Arizona. If they went to other places, they would have fucking Pro Bowl.
Yeah, no, the Cardinals have hit quite a few people.
So what's our next topic?
We're gonna go on. We're off the draft. We're on to the 3-word game.
Okay, first I have another question.
Yes, hit us with it.
Firstly, it's for both of you, really. It's sort of based on where I'm sitting in this room, to be fair. I take it everybody in the group has been PlayStation. I don't think anybody in the group has an Xbox, do they?
Surely they wouldn't be allowed in the CFM.
I don't have an Xbox One, but I have all the other Xboxes.
What was the first PlayStation you had on?
One.
Oh, good.
And still have.
OG.
Oh, fucking hell.
You'll say things to him like Tomb Raider, and he'd be like,
"Whoa." That's even more impressive, right? I want to know from everybody in the group, what's low key? Only PlayStation 2 and 3. We're not counting PS4 in this.
Okay.
What's the best, not mainstream game, but because as soon as you say best PS2 game, all you ever get is Simpsons Hit and Run.
San Andreas.
What's the best PS2 game or PS3 game that you played that you don't think other people played, that was just something you loved playing?
Is it wrong that I've got 3 answers for this immediately?
I've got one straight off that I don't think most people have played, because it was a bit shit, but I loved it.
What am I?
It was a game called Alpha Protocol.
And it was I'm literally looking at Alpha Protocol
that's
right
one of
now.
mine.
We fucking love that.
I've played it since.
It's so good.
It doesn't hold up well, but on the first playthrough, it was fucking magical.
The ending of that game is
right?
amazing.
Yeah.
For all the Telltale shite that's come out since, Alpha Protocol genuinely felt like I could tweak the ending of the story.
Nick has tried to put Silent Hill here, but what he's actually wrote is Pac-Man. Pac-Man when Nick was a kid. That's Space Invaders 1.
And Pong.
Oh, Star Wars Starfighter, Jedi Starfighter. That's a great call, James Cameron.
Careful now, because there was a Jedi.
Yes.
1 and 2. We're playing it right now, Adam. We're playing through
it
it
a minute on Steam.
Oh.
It's down to like £2.
Nice.
It's great. So good.
James saying King Kong.
King Kong is an amazing.
That's literally
call.
like saying Grand Theft Auto 3. We've all played it, James. Come on.
King Kong was shit, but it was really, really good at the same time.
No, I'm not saying it's bad. I'm just saying that if you're going obscure, because otherwise I would say Tiger Woods 2004. The soundtrack was fucking banging.
Every time you hear Tiger Woods, y'all, EA Sports.
EA Sports, y'all.
There, Full Spectrum Warrior, 10 Hammers is mine.
I was going to say Conflict Global Ops.
I have never played a game that's more like actual war than Full Spectrum Warrior. It's amazing. The whole thing of not shooting at people laying down expression parts, amazing game.
What about Justice League Heroes for the PS2?
Great game.
Or Black as a good shooter.
Oh,
yes. I forgot about it. It was brilliant.
Lethal.
But yeah,
I'm actually going down my trophies list to find out all games.
keep answers for that one coming in. Just great PS2 or PS3 games that you played.
Oh, my final one before we move on. Rayman M, because whenever you had people around after school, Rayman M, you could jump on it and play a whole bunch of shit. Multiplayer, brilliant.
We'll do a whole other week on PlayStation 1s and games.
You would need another week for PlayStation 1s.
We'll definitely do a PlayStation 1 week.
Jedi Power
But
Battles.
yeah, sorry, continue with 3-word game.
Right, 3-word game.
Filter.
Oh, I'm literally looking at Siphon Filter 3. It is
The
amazing.
OG, the first one was the best. Unreal. Just reloading the shotgun even when it was
yes,
full.
James Cameron, a PSP entry is allowed, but just one. The official UEFA Champions League game, 2009.
Oh yeah.
How good, by the way, were tournament games? Why did they stop
UEFA Euro
making
2004?
Yeah.
The 2006 World Cup game with Frank Lampard on it? Brilliant game.
Yeah, brilliant game.
What was the one that had every nation?
4, where you started as a school team.
What?
What game was that?
This is football 2004.
Oh.
I've never played that actually.
There was a dive button and a 2-foot slide tackle button.
Ahead of its time.
Red Card?
Red Card was something else.
Yes.
It was a great game. Niles just had Time Splitters too. Time Splitters was a great series. It was really good. I really enjoyed Time
They're
Splitters.
talking about a remake of it, and I'm super excited.
They remade 13.
13?
We watched a review the other day. Absolutely
shit.
Garbage,
Yeah.
yeah.
The original game was
They
great.
changed the graphics. Like,
Yeah, which was the one
took the wee
redeeming factor.
Took the wee death guy out of multiplayer as well.
yeah.
No
Niche.
need. But anyway, yes.
Very niche.
Well, yes, not correct. 13 is such a good game, but unfortunately the remake is dick.
Keep it coming.
So yeah,
Adam was on a bye. No 3-word game there. Chicago beat Buffalo.
Earliest by ever.
Yeah, earliest by ever. Very, very good. I'm going to put that in, actually. Chicago beat Buffalo 31-10, and everybody wants me to go in on Niall because I said John played a more honest game. Get over yourselves. Chicago's 3-word...
Is that your 3-word game? Get over yourself?
Chicago's 3-word game is the 3 Mo's. Moments, Montgomery, momentum. I thought Chicago, when I say they didn't play an honest game, it's more that the Bills were just dick. And Chicago got away with a lot of things, but in key moments in that game, see Riley Ridley right at the end, corner out touchdown. Montgomery got 12, 13, 14 carries. The momentum swung just before the half whenever Buffalo went down to kick a field goal, and as every other CPU team has ever done, got there, ran out of timeouts, didn't know what they were doing. Niall played better than Bills in big moments, fed Montgomery appropriately, not just I'm going to do loads and loads of dives and ISOs to get him touches, and the momentum swung at the right time. All the things went right for the Bears, and they won 31-10. An offense that never scores more than 21. When things go right for him, the ceiling is now starting to increase. Good to see. Denver beat Oakland. My 3-word game is let Travis Etienne. So they fed Etienne again a suitable amount. I'm sick of... Zach pointed this out, and he was right too. I whenever I show people their touch map, whenever it's like you've got this many carries, and he's like, well, so many of those are at the end of the game when you're just trying to run it out. Zeke Elliott this week in Dallas. But Travis Etienne got appropriate touches, and it helped him win a 5-point game. Arizona 3-word game. Welcome back, offense. Stips nearly scored. In fact, Stips very almost scored more points against San Francisco than he'd scored in the first 3 weeks. Stips played San Francisco last week. He plays Seattle next week. These are simply must-win games. Stips, if you can win the next one by more than 3, I nearly had a heart attack going into the 4th. But the offense is back. It's more diverse. Murray's using his legs. I think Murray had 0 rush yards in the game, but you can see him move about and create plays by staying alive in the pocket. I don't think Murray was sacked by the Niners. Could be wrong. Dallas.
He was sacked a few times.
Oh, was it? Was it early on in the game? I caught the second half of that one.
Niners D-line's fucking disgusting.
It is. It's sacked. Didn't it get 7.5, something like that? Sacks and Love.
8 against me. Yeah. I'll tell you now exactly how many they had.
Dallas's 3-word game in the meantime is a win over Philadelphia. Clay Eagle shooting. I mean, the Eagles are shot. They've lost like 4 divisional games, and James has gone from being their bitch to them being his. I like the win in week 2 was much more convincing and comfortable. It was nice. A bit of what James Cameron did in his win over Cleveland, where everybody was like, oh, he's terrible, he's forced it to people, but he was seeing what his offense was about. Amari Cooper came to play a lot. It's good to see.
Kyler Murray was sacked 4 times.
Oh, they must all have been early in the game. I'll need to go back and watch that again. Giants over Green Bay. Huge win, 30-17, really in hand. My 3-word game is Herbert's halftime. The reason for this is my only minor knock on Herbert. Herbert in the first half against Green Bay, 9 for 12, 200 yards, 2 touchdowns, and a pass rate of 156. Herbert in the second half, 2 for 9, 28 yards, and a touchdown, pass rate of 77. It's not bad. I mean, 2 for 9's pretty rough.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
But Barkley took over the game in the second half, but it's just something to look at. If you look at the first 4 games of the Giants, I really like them. I don't quite believe them as a 1 seed right now, because the second half, as much as he's got a lead and Barkley takes over, I'd like to see something more from Herbert in the second half. I don't want you to score 50 or 60, but I need you to be better than 2 for 9 through the air with player games coming up. That said, the next player game coming up is James Earls. You could probably beat him at the minute, 2 for 9 through there.
Probably beat him 2-9 on the scoreboard.
Oakland lost 21-26 to Denver, but I have positive 3-word game. All in Robinson.
Yes.
He is winning and losing off of Allen Robinson, but he is forcing the ball to him. Not needlessly, but it's 3rd and 10. We need to take a shot. We trust him. Allen Robinson, he caught one that was like Megatron's catch against like 3 defenders to keep the game close. Last year, Nick scored 7 in the first game against James Cameron and 7 in the second game. And now he scored 21 in the first game. In a game he could have won, and a lot of it was on the back of Allen Robinson. And what Allen Robinson didn't do was on the back of Darren Waller. Houston tied 35-35 with Indianapolis. John, I was literally rooting for you from about half-time onwards. My 3-word game is fix your tie. You just need to button up a wee bit and like just fix the tie, you know, where you pull it and it goes a wee bit tighter in the neck.
They're too young, they don't know ties on.
It look a little bit more presentable. Like, you scored 35 points. That's more than the Saints have scored in 2 of their games. It's more than the Bears have scored all season. It's more than the Broncos have scored. Christ, it's more than Arizona's maybe scored on the season. It's more than Dallas have scored, and it's more than Oakland have scored. 35 points would have won like 90% of games people have played in this year, but you allowed 35 to a guy who threw an interception on his first pass of the game that you took back for 6. You didn't care, and it cost you 5 touchdowns against the CPU team that, for all intents and purposes, was dick, that you absolutely mastered in week 1. And I know it sounds a bit hypocritical when I've just said what I was saying to Daniel there. The first 17 weeks are just a dress rehearsal, an audition. Some things can go wrong, and you didn't lose, and you can still go undefeated. But I mean, he's literally the defending Super Bowl champion, so you can only hit him with so much critique. And he did score 35 points, which, like I said, would have won basically any game. I mean, I'm looking just quickly here. I think 35 points would not have beat Adam in week 2, but or Zach against Green Bay.
42.
Oh no, he got 42 against Philadelphia as well. Yeah. So 3 games, 35 points wouldn't have won you. And the 4th one obviously was the Indianapolis one. Just you gotta be more engaged. Felt like you were in first gear through the whole match, and whenever your rolly-outy posty thing didn't work, you tied. I mean, you fought tooth and nail. I loved your. Yeah, you don't think you scored in overtime, but you fought tooth and nail in overtime. And like I said, Daniel and I were both rooting for you. But you can't take the first 4 quarters of a 4-quarter game off.
No.
There was 2 great plays towards the end of that game where the Colts sent a massive blitz on 2nd down, and John had to throw it away, and then came back on 3rd down and threw a really quick out for a 1st down.
Oh, that's just reminded me. Yes, I was going to mention that in the Player of the Week segment.
2 brilliant plays from both.
He audible. It wasn't even a quick out route. It was like a streak or something, and he audibled it quickly to a quick route and snapped it. And Daniel was just in awe. Yeah, because it stopped the clock and it got him a 1st down, so we didn't need to worry about, oh, what if this doesn't work? We'll be on 4th. We'll have to get it. Clock will be running. He was just snap, click, bang, throw, and Hopkins is straight out. It's a fresh set of downs, and the clock was stopped. There was times in that game John was masterful, but he took 3.5 quarters of the game off, and you can't do that. If John plays like he played in overtime, he beats Adam comfortably. I don't think there's anybody that he doesn't beat. For scoring no points in overtime, John was on a different level. Please, it's 1 game a week. Show that effort a little bit more in the actual 4 quarters, and you'll go 15
Do
and
we
1.
have any more 3-word games?
No, that's the end of the 3-word games.
I'm going to be doing a sort of not separate podcast, It's not going to be serious as a podcast. But each week, I'm just going to pick one of you. We'll obviously rotate who's doing it, but we'll pick one of you. We'll find 40 minutes you're free. Me and you will play a head-to-head. First half, we'll discuss something CFM related. Second half, we'll just discuss something else. So, for example, Adams will very much be the first half. We'll be talking about the Justin Herbert trade.
Obviously.
Second half, we'll be very strongly talking about PlayStation 1 games. So, James Cameron,
no.
have your post-Wenger Arsenal talk ready. Because I'm going to pick a different one of these each week, and we'll play a head-to-head game of Madden. We'll stream it, we'll stream the audio, and we'll just talk some shit about some stuff. And then we'll upload them to the page in case anybody wants to watch them back. Continue.
I'm gonna switch it up. Usually I do Herd Hierarchy next, but there's one wee tweak I want to make to it, so we'll do Players of the Week first. Everybody, I think I mentioned this in the chat earlier, everybody has a Player and Player of the Week, so well done Dallas and Arizona for breaking your duck, as it were. So this is going to be the first one without a Saint all year. Quarterback,
And the last.
like it. I mean, if the first 3 weeks are to go by, you're right. Quarterback, I went with Jimmy Garoppolo. Thought he was pretty faultless against Arizona. And I don't think any player quarterback impressed more. And before you're all screaming at me like Deshaun Watson or Justin Herbert, there's other players from those teams getting in. Speaking of, running back 1 was Saquon Barkley. It feels really weird we had to wait for week 4 for him to be RB1, but they've been more pass heavy. But Barkley literally went on, and I can literally see Zach's grin. To be at Lambeau Field and be beating the Packers by so much that you don't have to pass in the second half must have been amazing. He hates Rodgers, as do we all, but he hates him more. Running back 2, I don't overly mind him, but he's just so easy. He's so easy to hate, you know.
I mind him a lot.
He gets some unfair stick, but then he goes and steals an MVP off JJ Watt, and you're like, you're a bellend. RB2, I went with David Montgomery of the Bears because they won 31-10, but I think it's another game they win like 24-17 without David Montgomery. I think he really set the tone, got plenty of applicable, reasonable touches, and allowed for a better pass game. Wide receiver 1 was Will Fuller. He deserved to win that Colts game more than any other player in that field. Thought he was outstanding. Number 2 wide receiver I gave to Allen Robinson, who did everything but win the game against Denver. Thought he played really well. Tight end, I went with Mark Andrews because Zach Ertz got loads of catches again but wasn't nearly as effective as he was the week before. My flex option is Amari Cooper. He got hurt and had to leave the game, but he was playing better than Allen Robinson early on at one stage. Then defensively, I got Ed Oliver, who dominated the line of scrimmage against the Bears. Linebacker, Mr. Fingers, I'm going to give that to Fred Warner. Thought he was more important than any. If you're wondering why Travis Etienne isn't on here, I thought he was more important than any offensive player for Denver. I put it up just after their game finished in the pizza chat, where I showed that Nick was constantly running these crossers. I think it is Robinson, and he had him as the inside of the trips on the left, and he runs this 10-yard crosser into the end zone, and instead of following the route and running after the receiver, James moved Fred Warner across from the mic position and dropped him back in.
Who's Fred Warner?
Mr. Fingers.
You mean Mr. Fingers?
So he drops Mr. Fingers across to the right side of a 3-4 and drops him back into the end zone. I've put screenshots in the chat from a while ago, and he just waits, and Nick rolls out right as he had done and threw it back across, and it looked like it was aimed at Warner. Like he was just ready for it. He had seen that play before, and he was like, "This is it." And it was right before the end of the first half. Turned the game completely. Took the momentum away from Oakland.
That's a massive pick.
As for the corner, I mean, the only one I thought of consideration was Trey White, but he plays for the Bills, and I can't put him in if Ed Oliver's in, so I'm probably going to leave DB blank this week. In fact, no, I'm going to go back on myself. I'm going to put Trey White in, and I'm going to not put anybody in a D-line, because Ed Oliver was okay. If he was better than okay, they would have held the Bears to less than 31. But no, Trey White benefited from a couple of picks, like I mentioned earlier on. Niall just going, I'm going to throw it over here, and then Trey White being like, I'm going to stand over here. people who got nominations for Player of the Week who didn't get into the team: Nelson Aguilar of the Colts, Aaron Rodgers, and Zach Ertz, who just wasn't good enough compared to Mark Andrews. Just a quick update of everybody's record since the start of last season now. That's Oakland are 6-14. Arizona's 10-10 to the surprise of absolutely nobody. The Giants are 12-8. The Bears are 14-6. Dallas and Denver are 15-5. The Saints are 18-1, and the Texans are 18-1 and 1.
Just doesn't sound nice.
I know, it's just weird.
It looks even worse written down, to be fair. It is bad. It's very bad. But yes, I've just stuck in the group there about the first head-to-head.
Going after week 11 is a good idea.
Yeah, it'll probably be once we stop bringing people on the podcast. I do... Week 11, so what, week 12, 13... You 5 weeks, I wouldn't get to play everybody.
You could play some people during the wildcard round. Yeah, I mean, you could play whoever, what do you call it? Whoever gets beat in the wildcard round.
Yeah, and if somebody misses the playoffs...
Or if somebody misses the playoffs, for sure. So I'd be playing guys like in week 11, week 12, I'd be playing guys like Zach and Adam and Niall. I'd be playing the undefeateds.
Sweet. Yeah, but yeah, we'll just do like 3 randoms and play against each other, because then we don't have to time it, because we'll just talk about one thing in the first half, one thing in the second half. Who's on the podcast in week 10?
Great question.
Week
Week 10,
Zach or someone else, because there's week 10
it's going to be Zach.
Then I might start head-to-head with Zach if he's up for it, and go in reverse order from week 11.
What's the purpose of the head-to-heads?
Literally just so we're streaming.
Oh, fair. Oh, so you can just chat away.
It's just we'll play a Madden game. First half we talk about CFM, like a CFM topic, which I might actually put out to the group of what they want to talk about. Probably something controversial. We'll probably go something like a really bad trade, or a game, a head-to-head or a PvP game that was controversial, or just, yeah, we'll pick something controversial. We'll talk about it for the first half. Second half, we'll pick something, probably the player's choice. Pick something random they want to talk about.
We'll pick something controversial.
Is this your way of forcing Ireland a Pro Bowl or Super Bowl press conference?
No, the controversial.
If it is, that would be brilliant.
The controversial thing won't be about their team. It'll be about somebody else's team around the league. I'll probably get a list of. I'll ask guys in the group, start suggesting controversial topics, and then I'll assign them to somebody that they're not about. Because I don't want to be like asking Zach about the Herbert trade, because he's gonna be slightly. He doesn't want to get burned on it, so he doesn't want to say, yeah, Herbert's gonna be amazing with the Giants, who's shit with the Bears, because then he looks like a dick if he's bad. So I'll get a list of controversial topics that you want to hear about, and we'll assign them to different players, and then get on. And yeah, we'll let the player pick a topic for the second half of just something they want to talk about. James Cameron, yours has to be about Arsenal, I'm afraid. That's just the law.
I think
it may be Arsenal / his food Instagram.
It has to be his food Insta.
I'm not
I would
lie.
fight tooth and nail for that.
Or even better, use it as one of the controversial topics.
Yeah.
You use it as a controversial topic and get somebody else to slag his food and stuff. Sort of wee rivalry.
I could never slag that. It's phenomenal.
It is world class. Apart from the heated banana, that was terrifying.
I was keen on the banana. I liked it.
James doesn't want to talk about Arsenal. I've just said we can talk about Wenger Arsenal.
Wenger Arsenal's okay.
Just Mesut Ozil. That's all you need to talk about.
Yes, Mesut Ozil's political beliefs and his burn on Piers Morgan.
The burn on Piers Morgan is hilarious.
About hacking his phone, wasn't it?
Yeah. Is this actually you, or
world class delivery?
Top quality banter. So I've only got two other
just be a wee head to head every week.
Two other segments to do. That's our power rankings and the Blazing Five.
Yes.
So we got 2 new teams in the power rankings this week, and yes, one of them is a user. So power rankings starting from number 10. Got a brand new team in the power rankings. I would assume it is their first week. It is indeed. It's the Dallas Cowboys at 2-2. They have all the pieces to not only win the East, but be a top contender in January. So I don't know why they aren't, but I'm putting them in as a top 10 team because I like them as a top 10 team. The Dallas Cowboys.
That's a
It
reach.
was a good rebound. Good rebound game.
Right? And now, I mean, look at their schedule. They've got Detroit, who,
They have the NFC North.
yeah, they'll beat Detroit. Then there's a bye. Then he loses to Nile, right? What? Then he's 3-3. So can he win all of his last remaining games? More or less. He's got the Packers, should win. He's got the Giants, that's huge. He'll beat Washington. He'll beat the Colts, the Jags, the Niners. He always thrashes Minnesota, Tennessee, Washington. Week 16 against Big John. If he loses to Houston, he could be 12-4, 11-5, 12-4. It's gonna be fine. It's gonna be awkward.
Still be enough, yeah.
He's got the Saints early, and he's got Nile early, and they're both going to be losses. One of them he's lost already, and I mean I think he's more likely to lose to Nile than he is Adam, and he's already lost to Adam. So he's going to be like 3-3, and it's going to be, it's a hanging over him. That's really not a good start, but he'd probably finish 11-5, 12-4. I have Tennessee at number 9. They haven't moved from last week. I need to see them against a player team, like in a proper challenge. Oh, what's that? What's that, Jamie? Pull up the schedule. Oh, Houston are at Houston are at Tennessee in week 5. Time to see if they belong in the power rankings or not.
Podcast hosted.
Yeah, right. As long as the Houston actually tries at some point during the game, Tennessee won't have a walkover. I have Baltimore down 3 spots in number 8. I still think they're going to be the best team in the AFC that isn't a user team, which just shows the quality of the 7 teams above them. Number 7, and new on the power rankings this week, is the NFC South leaders. That's Tampa Bay at 3-1. They're leading the South, obviously, courtesy of their one divisional win, which Adam's not allowed any divisional games this year. He's to play those 2024.
Yeah.
Tampa Bay, maybe slightly unfortunate to only have been on the list now, but don't be dick at the start of the year. They could have had them at 6 because I might favour them against the team in 6, but I'm going to back the team in 6 who's up 2 from last week, the 4-0 Chicago Bears. I feel like they would blast Tampa Bay, as they did in the wildcard round last year. And number 5, I have Oakland. They're down 2. Don't take too much of a knock from this, but it's a PvP loss to a divisional opponent. It's still a good 3-1. I think Oakland... Can I just say this about Oakland? I can because it's true. Oakland have not been outside the top 5 in my power rankings since the start of the year. They're a 3-13 team. Number 4, they've just been overlapped by Denver, who were 6 last week. Denver could have been 3, but I have reasons for not doing that just yet. I like Denver. I like Denver a lot. I still have some Denver stock where I like them winning the AFC title game. We'll see if that comes together during the season. DK Metcalf is now playing for a contract with somebody else, so that is actually a positive. There's money freed
Hopefully
up.
with the Saints.
Yeah, with the Saints.
Yeah.
I mean, it's going to be that's something I'm going to talk to you about in about 10 weeks. That's going to be one of the most hotly anticipated free agencies ever, and I expect not weekly or daily, hourly updates from the chat as to who the most recent high offer it is for him.
Free agency week 1's going to be a fucking nightmare this year because everyone's going to try to outbid each other on Metcalf.
Absolutely, and only 2 of you really need him. Just to reiterate this, he's a massive split-end receiver who wins on the perimeter. There are 2 teams that tied for the worst perimeter tandems in the league last week. Completely unrelated note, number 3, the Giants are 4-0. They're back up into 3rd spot after being pipped by Oakland last week. I mean, they're going to switch spots every so often, up and down. I feel like if I had a gun to my head, the Giants are the 3rd best team in the NFL. And it's pretty solid now. The Saints stayed in 2, haven't moved. If the Saints had played, though, they could have jumped into 1 because Houston stayed at 1. Somewhat unconvincing. I don't think they played badly. I do still think they're the best team in the NFL, but there's a massive 1 in the tied column that I don't like because until this week I didn't have a tied column and now I have to have one.
Yeah.
So that's upsetting.
Plus, the Colts haven't got a win yet. They're
Yeah,
0
they're
3 and 1.
0-3-1. That's got to wrangle. At least when the Colts drew with Matty, they were like, what were they, 7-8-1 or something like that. They had talent.
Because they beat Niall twice a year.
Oh god, yeah, that's right. Yeah. I was going to say, where did the Colts get their wins from? Because they certainly never beat Adam or I. Even they always tried. They always give such a good showing. Yeah. See, the Colts are what the Colts are. The Colts are what they were in week 1 when John beat them 40-20. They scored 20 points. They got battered.
So they scored 55 points against John this season.
Has any other divisional opponent against John ever done that?
The Bears, Saints, and someone else I think have given up less points all season. The Titans. Raiders have given up 56.
I was going to say that the Raiders and the Bears would have been my two that I would have guessed at.
Bears have 29. I suppose I've played a game less, but I've given up 40.
So I mean, Niall is giving up 7 points per game right now. It's
a big defense.
I'm telling you, the 4 teams he's played before Buffalo, the first 3 teams, Miami, Jets and Washington, since we started the CFM in 2015, none of those teams have made the playoffs. They're not good teams. But
we had his first, up until the bye, we had him pegged as should have maybe dropped 1 game.
Oh yeah, no, he should probably win out until the bye. That's not surprising. What's surprising is the nature of some of the victories. Like the Washington one, 2 pick sixes, a bunch of sacks. The defense is playing better than it even suggests. But is it enough to carry the offense? We'll find out after his bye, whenever that is.
Week 8.
Oh, the perfect bye.
I know.
Week 8, week 9, week 10. Lovely, lovely time. So, Blazing 5 time. I'm going to give you the not Vegas stat line. Then I'm going to give you my pick. And then Daniel and Adam, in some order, I want your picks for the game. So Chicago plays Minnesota. Minnesota have never beaten a player team, with the exception of Stoops last week. The not Vegas stat line is Bears by 10, and I am taking the Bears. Who are you taking and by how much?
Dan, you go first.
Surely neither of you are going to take the Vikings to do something that they've never done.
It's the Bears by 7. For me.
I'm going to take the Bears by 14. But it's going to be like 17-3 or 21-7.
I was going to say, do you think the offense comes to play for the Bears? Because this is the breakout game that I was expecting for them. Everybody thinks it's the Bills, but the offense didn't really do that much more. I think that the offense explodes against Minnesota.
The under on total points in this game is 30. I don't expect 30 points at all.
The last time he played the Vikings at home, by the way, just for reference, was a 27-24 win in overtime.
Oh, that game?
That game. I think Niall's offense explodes against Minnesota. And the not Vegas stat line is Bears by 10, and I don't even know if it's that big a win margin, but I think, because the Vikings offense is pretty good, I like the Bears to score over 30 points. I really do. So next game, Arizona host Seattle in a must-win game. The not Vegas stat line for it is Seahawks by 2. I'm taking the Cardinals. It's just too important. Stoops needs to win.
By how many?
Cardinals by 4. And even I feel
I'm going to say Cards by 1. But it is a coin flip.
It really is. So the Giants are at Washington for a divisional game for a change. The not Vegas stat line is not kind. I have the Giants by 14, and I'm taking the Giants. And it's not close.
No, Washington have absolutely no chance. They've played already this year, haven't they?
They have, and for reference, it was 33-14, and it wasn't that close a game.
It's the Giants by 17.
I think it'll be wider.
Daniel has Giants by 17. Adam, will you go higher than 17? Of course you will, it's a podcast.
Yeah, well, 33 minus 14 is 19. It'll be more than 20.
Right. Oakland have Kansas City, a team that Nick has historically mastered, even in his 3-13 season. Vegas stat line is Raiders by 10. I have them bouncing back in a big way after the James Cameron game, and I'm taking the Raiders obviously as well.
I think I'm going to buck the trend. I have KC by 3.
Tasty.
Raiders by 3. Just.
And that's not a shot at Nick or the Raiders. I just think that they're on a crest of a wave, and I know how pissed he was at that pick. And it can go both. I can see a world where he smashes KC, but it's going to be tight. And I think KC are going to sneak it.
I like the Vegas style line of Raiders by 10, but I can also see a world in which case the Raiders don't start the first quarter particularly well, and then all of a sudden Mahomes is Mahomes. Houston at the Titans.
Like you sorry.
No, go ahead.
You found out with the Raiders that they're not a good team from behind.
Oh god, no. Yeah. And you're behind against the Chiefs. I beat the Chiefs 27-24 when I played them. It's not nice. It's a horrible game. If Josh Jacobs doesn't have a good game, you're in trouble. Houston at Tennessee. Vegas stat line Texans by 8, and I'm taking the Texans. Texans to, inverted commas, bounce back from their tie. I think they're going to win by like a score, because Tennessee are going to shed a lot of tackles, and Derrick Henry's going to spam his way into the end zone. And their quarterback is Costello. KJ Costello is
KJ Costello.
He's doing pretty well. The Titans' defense is sticky in man coverage. It's not going to let him score a load of those 9s. And I don't know. I actually don't know how John's going to mentally approach the game coming off a tie. So I'm going to take the Texans by about a score.
I have John reverting back to the worst John and winning by about 30 at a canter.
Texans by 30.
He's
by the way,
going to
should go
default.
without saying. That's our biggest win margin ever.
Texans by 21.
Yeah, I think he's going to default to that few plays. He's not going to punt. He's just going to be the John that we've seen in Green Bay, putting 50 on everyone.
I was going to say John by 30 is a Green Bay stat line, not a Houston stat line.
I'll take a 50 burger bonus on it too.
Right, 50 burger bonus is going in because I'm going to give you extra points for that. Texans by 30 and scoring 50 points.
Yeah.
It's crazy. So that's that. I don't have anything else I want to cover, and the podcast is about 7 minutes over what I thought it would go. So, any other closing statements?
No, I'm very happy. That was good.
No, I'm pretty happy with that.
Adam, talk to us very, very briefly about New Orleans at Cleveland and beyond. Thoughts on the season going forward?
The week 4 bye sucked balls, but we just gotta keep going. Kind of looking past the Browns and have my eyes on the 6, 7, 8 Cardinals, Steelers, Ravens.
Just be careful.
As
Cleveland have an offense that James Cameron found out about.
Yeah, Cleveland are dangerous, but generally I don't struggle against teams that can score.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
That's generally I fancy myself in a shootout, no matter who I'm playing.
Yeah.
So I sort of fancy that. And saying that, I'll be like James Earl's level of egg in my face if next week I lose 14-7 to the Browns. But
all right, one last thing to ask you just before you go. I'm going to ask everybody this. Give me your title games and your Super Bowl and who wins it right now in week 4.
I have I have Zach at New Orleans, so Giants at New Orleans, and Broncos at Texans.
And who plays in the Super Bowl?
I have. I just feel like it's Herbert's year, and it's Justin Herbert leading the Giants on a merry charge to a ring.
Who does he beat?
Against the Texans.
The Texans.
He beats the Texans. Yeah.
I will make you a promise now. If Justin Herbert
that's
beats
the
you,
only scenario where I can stomach losing another title game.
if Herbert beats you in the title game and then goes on to win the bowl, my first guest of 2024 will be you, and we will talk about nothing but who won the Trubisky Herbert trade. I don't think there's any
And
other
I
way
will
to
be
more
leading a
fitting than that.
merry chorus of Justin Herbert.
Adam coming on, we'll do a Zoom podcast, and Adam can wear an "I was right" T-shirt. Maximum smugness.
Yes.
Daniel, anything else to add, Dan?
That's my case.
No, I'm very happy. Thanks for coming on, Adam. Great crack.
No worries, man.
Nobody's on a bye
Anytime.
this week, which makes me wonder two things. One, how good is this going to be that everybody's got games again? And two, why couldn't Adam have had a week 5 bye? Like, week 4 is so stupid.
This is one of the only weeks of the season without a PvP game.
That is weird.
I think
annoying.
this 17 and 10 or 11 or something are the only weeks.
8 doesn't have a PvP game, but the Bears, Cardinals, and Raiders are all on a bye that week. Which probably doesn't
What
help.
scum getting a week 8 bye? Fuck those guys.
I gotta say, for Niall and John, who've been in the Super Bowl last year, both were handed gifts of byes, when usually it's the Super Bowl teams that are punished for that. The only super shitty byes, I think. I mean, yours is the shittiest. I think Denver and Dallas are too early at week 6.
Yeah.
The rest are okay.
What's the latest? Week 12, isn't it?
No, week 10. Giants Texans is the absolute latest. Then week
And
12
even
is usually
then.
reserved for whoever's playing in Mexico.
Oh.
Yeah, we'll be
Right,
on
cool beans.
next week.
Only that
Yeah,
one.
yeah.
Just a wee shout out, James Cameron I think is playing his game later, and that will be Denver at
Nice.
Buffalo, so we'll get to see if the Bills can rebound or if James Cameron's ready to seize control of the AFC, other than what John's doing. But John might be 3-0-2 this time next week, who knows. Well, it's been a blast. I'll chat to you guys next week. Our next guest, by the way, whenever the next podcast is James Earls. He'll be on after he plays Detroit because he's on to his week 6 bye.
Awesome.
Is his connection strong enough for a podcast?
We
If
will
it's not,
find
we'll
out.
just make up what he said. Right. See you guys next time.
See you later, guys.